Okay, peoples. Gun of the day, Shadow Eater, one angry pagan. Let's have a look at Sunak's speech, shall we? Uh,
Well, Dean, thank you for that warm welcome and your superb leadership of Policy Exchange. As you said, as a proud alumnus, I'm truly delighted to be back. Now, at some point in the second half of this year, we will all go to the polls and make a choice. Not just about...
at some point in the second half of this year. So he's going... Are we actually going to have a UK election around the same time as the US election? Is that actually happening? Oh, man.
Conservatives versus Labour, or Sunak versus Starmer. It will be a choice between the future and the past. Now, I remain confident that my party can prevail, not because of our record alone, but because we will be the only party.
Your record alone. Oh dear. Oh. There's no words needed for that.
Party really talking about the future, and not with vague, lofty platitudes, but with bold ideas and a clear plan that can change our society for the better and restore people's confidence and pride in our country. Now, I feel a profound sense of urgency because more will change in the next 5 years than in the last 30. I'm convinced that the next few years will be some of the most dangerous, yet the most transformational that our country has ever known. So the question we face today is this: who has the clear plan and bold ideas to deliver a secure future for you and your family?
Not you. My God, what a patronising little cunt. Like, seriously, what a patronising little prick he is. Oh. Like, this guy has had several different reboots now, right? People talk about Starmer, like, skipping here, skipping there, like, flip-flopping and whatnot, but, like, oh my God, Sunak. I mean, he is right. The next few years are going to be very dangerous. The times are getting more dangerous. Like, I've been saying this for a while on my channel, you know? But it'd be more dangerous with him still in charge. That's the problem here.
The dangers that threaten our country are real. They're increasing in number. An axis of authoritarian states like Russia, Iran, North Korea, and China is working together to undermine us and our values. War has returned to Europe, with our NATO allies warning that if Putin succeeds in Ukraine, they might be next. War rages too in the Middle East, as Israel defends itself, not only...
So despite the fact that Israel are seen to be committing war crimes, the line is still Israel defending itself. No, Israel are committing a genocide, you fucking prick.
Against the terrorists of Hamas, but a barrage of missiles fired for the first time directly from Iran. Right now in Africa.
Because Israel fired on it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, this is ridiculous. Israel fired on an Israeli consulate, on an Iranian consulate, and so Israel fired back. So Iran fired back, for fuck's sake. So Israel fired back on Iran. Like, Israel started this shit in the first place.
Conflicts are being fought in 18 different countries. And Putin's recklessness has taken us closer to a dangerous nuclear escalation than at any point since the Cuban Missile Crisis. But these are not faraway problems. Iranian proxies are firing on British ships in the Red Sea, disrupting goods destined for our high street.
That's true.
Here at home, China has conducted cyber targeting of our democratically elected MPs.
That's
Russia
reportedly
has
true.
poisoned people with chemical weapons. And when Putin cut off the gas supplies, it had a devastating impact on people's lives and threatened our energy security. And in this world of greater
We shouldn't have been relying on Russia in the first place.
conflict and danger, 100 million people are now displaced globally. Countries like Russia are weaponizing immigration for their own ends, and criminal gangs keep finding...
You guys weaponized immigration. You fucking hypocrite. Fucking hypocrite.
New routes to across European borders. Illegal migration is placing an intolerable strain on our security. And
you guys help to engineer. Like, fuck off.
Sense of fairness. And unless we act now and act boldly, this problem is only going to grow. Extremists are also exploiting these global conflicts to divide us. People are abusing our liberal democratic values, the freedom of speech.
Sunak's a liberal, is he? He's a democratic person, is he? It's just almost every word he comes out with is bullshit.
Right to protest, to intimidate, threaten, and assault others, to sing anti-Semitic chants on our streets and our university campuses, and to weaponize the evils of anti-Semitism or anti-Muslim hatred in a divisive, ideological attempt to set Britain against Britain.
And you're the guy who... He hires people who spout a load of this crap to be in government, and he has to sack them because they're doing exactly what he said, you know, what people said they'd do. Like, he's not fit to be in charge of the country. He just isn't. I'm
from
not.
Gender
He
activists
isn't.
hijacking children's sex education to cancel culture, vocal and aggressive fringe groups are trying to impose their views on the rest of us.
Oh my... Ooh. One of the biggest hypocritical points in this video, I think, is going to be that one right there. Fringe groups trying to impose their views on everyone else. Oh my fucking god! Coming from the Conservatives, that is, oh my god, that is ridiculously hypocritical. Oh my god.
They're trying to make it morally unacceptable to believe something different and undermine people's...
Again, like, this is so hypocritical. I haven't got any other words for it.
confidence and pride in our own history and identity. Scottish nationalists are even trying to tear our United Kingdom apart.
Oh, I just got no words.
But for all the dangers ahead, few are felt more acutely than people's sense of financial insecurity.
You know what? I have got words. Scotland, the reason why a lot of people are supporting the SNP is because of the fucking way that you guys treat Scotland. Fucking cunt.
Wounded by a series of once-in-a-generation shocks, the worst international financial crisis since the Great Depression in the 1930s, the first global pandemic since the Spanish flu and...
Oh my god. Like, you guys were the ones handling the economy before that, right? And other countries have had faster recoveries, have had better recoveries than we've had, and are at a higher level than we are, because we dropped so low. The reason why he will likely say we have the fastest growing economy, right? The reason why it's probably going faster than others is because it's catching up to everyone else because it dropped further than everyone else. Fucking
1918, the biggest energy shock since the 1970s. Global forces. Yet they are hitting our living standards here at home. We must be prepared strategically, economically, with robust plans and greater...
Oh my god, the Conservative Party has been in charge for 14 fucking years. Where was the preparation? And they were told to prepare as well.
National resilience to meet this time of instability with...
They were warned more than once throughout the last 14 years to prepare for bad shit to come, and they didn't.
And people's sense of insecurity is only heightened
multiple different
by
levels.
the fears about new technologies like AI. When the IMF says 40% of jobs could be affected, or hundreds of leading experts say the risk could be on a par with pandemics or nuclear war, and when children are exposed to bullying, sexualized content, or even self-harm online, people want to know that they've got someone in charge who understands these dangers, because only if you understand what is happening can you be trusted to keep us safe.
We can't trust you guys. You guys have made everything fucking worse.
But the paradox of our age is that for all the profound dangers that we face right now, we also hold in our hands an opportunity for human progress that could surpass the Industrial Revolution in speed and breadth. Technologies like AI will do for the 21st century what the steam engine and electricity did for the 19th. They'll accelerate human progress by complementing what we do, speeding up the discovery of new ideas, and by assisting almost every aspect of human life. Think of the investment they will bring, the jobs.
Think of the investment it will bring. Like, I can't take him seriously. His voice is just, he sounds like a kid.
They'll create, and the increase in all our living standards that they'll deliver.
Not a kid, he sounds like a primary school teacher.
Credible estimates suggest AI alone could double our productivity in the next decade.
Or AI programmed voice of a primary school teacher.
And in doing so, help us create a world of less suffering, more freedom, choice, and opportunity. Just imagine every child in school with their own personalised tutor, and every teacher free to spend more time.
14 years. 14 years.
Personally developing each student. New frontiers in medical diagnostics, where a single picture of your eyes can not only detect blindness, but predict other diseases like heart attacks or Parkinson's. And counterintuitive as it may seem, throughout human history, the greatest breakthroughs of science and learning have so often come at the moments of greatest danger. The first electronic digital computer.
How is that counterintuitive? Like, in desperate situations, people do become more ingenious. Like, they do look for ingenious solutions. They become more desperate. They think out of the box. What the fuck? He's not even coming at this, like, even from this side of things, he can't come at it from the right angle. He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about.
Computers were developed by British codebreakers in the Second World War.
Yeah, and the head of which we basically bullied till he killed himself.
Technology went from powering pocket calculators to a viable commercial technology following the energy crisis of the 1970s. The fastest development and deployment of a vaccine in history came during the COVID pandemic. So it is
again, like, these things you'd expect your government to try its best to achieve these things anyway. You see, it just, the sense of duty is non-existent with these people.
Upon us to make this a period not just of great danger, but great progress too. That's why we launched...
Sorry, what did he just say then? Hang on a second.
but great progress too. That's why we launched a bold plan to came during the COVID pandemic. So it is incumbent upon us to make this a period not just of great danger.
Oh my fucking gods. I haven't seen anyone else comment upon this, but he's literally just said, I am quoting him verbatim here. It's not just a time for us to make things more dangerous, but for us to make it a time of progress too. He's actively making things more oh my fucking, we know this, but he just said quite a bit out loud. I haven't seen anyone else comment upon this, by the way.
But great progress too. That's why we launched a bold solar technology went from powering pocket calculators to a viable commercial technology following the energy crisis of the 1970s. The fastest development and deployment of a vaccine in history came during the COVID pandemic. So it is incumbent upon us to make this a period not just of great danger.
So it is incumbent upon us to make this a period of not just great danger, but of progress. He's verbatim. He said that it's incumbent upon them to make it make this period more dangerous. He just said that. Someone please, what?
But great progress too. That's why we launched a bold plan to make science and technology our new national purpose. We're rightly proud of Britain's spirit of discovery and entrepreneurship that made us the leading country in the Industrial Revolution.
Don't forget slavery. Slavery too.
We can be just as proud, just as confident, just as optimistic about our future and our prospects.
Proud about slavery. Just completely miss out the slavery part.
To lead again in this new industrial age. And doing so will enrich our lives and create good, well-paid jobs in the growth industries of the future here at home. At the same time, new and fast-growing economic superpowers like India, Indonesia, and Nigeria are significantly reshaping the global economy. And just as this ever more interconnected world creates new dangers, it also creates new possibilities.
Okay, so India, who've got an authoritarian in charge, Indonesia are about to get an authoritarian in charge.
United Kingdom is uniquely placed
and he talks about the dangers of authoritarian nations, and his examples for great upcoming nations is at least two of the ones that I remember he mentioned then are led by authoritarians.
We've always been an open, trading, maritime nation, and Brexit has given the opportunity for us to trade even more.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't.
And we invent, discover, and produce new products and services.
You invent bullshit all the fucking time.
That the world wants to buy. From aircraft wings in Filton, to financial services in Glasgow, to incredible cultural exports like film, music, and TV, or sports like the Premier League. Everywhere from rural
and arts,
Kenya to the cityscapes of South Korea, people
stay. Not going to mention Doctor Who either, no.
At all times of the day
TV
and night
series.
To watch their favourite British team. It's no wonder that Brexit Britain has leapt above France, Japan, and the Netherlands to become the world's fourth biggest exporter. And the more
only for larger companies. Smaller companies, smaller and medium enterprises are not being able to export as much as they used to. So, smooth there, Sunak.
The more we export, the better our businesses will do. The more jobs we'll create. The more wealth we'll generate right across our country. So this is the opportunity before us. A world transformed by technological progress, huge global markets hungry for new talent, goods and services. And you can see it all around us. Two brothers from Merseyside sat around their kitchen table and built Castor, a £1 billion sportswear business taking on global giants like Nike and Adidas. Their kit now worn by Red Bull Formula One and Bayer Leverkusen. British companies and workers right across the country are pioneering offshore wind.
So he's trying to give us a sense of jingoism here. Read Terry Pratchett's Jingo.
And exporting it around the world.
Or listen
Now
to
already
it.
we've built
Good
the world's first
really
floating offshore wind farm. And our innovations have helped reduce the cost of wind energy by around 2/3 and increase the size of the turbines to the equivalent.
You will refuse to allow for more solar farms and onshore wind farms.
Of the Eiffel Tower with blades bigger than Big Ben. And you can see the opportunity too in healthcare, giving people longer, healthier lives. In Denmark, Novo Nordisk created the Ozempic drug, which is not only helping to tackle chronic disease globally, but single-handedly grew Denmark's entire economy last year. So
Denmark.
all this progress should show us that while this is one of the most dangerous periods we've ever known, it will also be one of the most transformational.
He is.
And if we make the right choices, if we have a bold enough vision,
but it's not just
feel confidence, pride, and optimism.
It's not just that this is a dangerous time. You just said it's incumbent upon you guys to make it a dangerous period and to progress. Oh my fucking god!
That Britain's future is secure.
No wonder people are calling him a socialist.
And my point is this: our country stands at a crossroads. Over the next few years, from our democracy to our society to our economy to the hardest questions of war and peace, almost every aspect of our lives is going to change. And how we act in the face of those changes, not only to keep people safe and secure, but to realise the opportunities too, will determine whether or not Britain...
Your government has the Tory governments have consecutively, including this one, made us less safe. Objectively. It is ridiculous and hypocritical for him to come out with this bullshit.
...will succeed in the years to come. And there is an important choice facing the country. Because despite having 14 years with nothing to do but think about the future, Labour have almost nothing to say about it.
Labour have got plenty to say about it. This is such bullshit lies.
No plans for our border?
Yes, they do.
Plans for our energy security?
Yes, they do.
No plans for our economy either?
Yes, they do.
And no principles either. Keir Starmer's gone from embracing Jeremy Corbyn to Natalie Elphicke.
Who was from your party, you fucking twat! Oh my god. The Tories seriously think this is a weapon they can use against Labour. She came from your party. If she's that bad... Oh my god.
All in the cynical pursuit of power at any price. So Labour have no ideas. What they did have, they've U-turned on. They have just one thing.
Okay, they haven't.
A calculation that they can make you feel.
And again, I'm not a fan of the Elphicke move either. But what Sunak just tried, the context that Sunak just tried to bring out then was utter bullshit.
Bad about your country that you won't have the energy to ask what they might do with the incredible power that they seek to yield. Now, I'm not saying that the past doesn't matter. I know people are feeling anxious and uncertain, that their sense of confidence and pride in this country has been knocked. I understand.
Yeah, because of your fucking party, because of you fucking retard.
That. I accept it.
No, I don't care if anyone gets offended by that word. Fucking is one.
I want to change it. But what I cannot accept is Labour's idea that all the worries you have are because of 14 years of Conservative government.
Like, I listened to Professor Tim talk about this earlier, and I'm sorry, Tim, I have to argue with you. For Professor Tim Wilson, I'm sorry, Professor, but I have to argue with you on this. 14 years of conservative government is the reason why we are in this shit. Brexit, which was brought around by this conservative government, which we've had for the last 14 years, like, isn't in of itself the problem. The Tories are the biggest problem here.
That all you need to do is change the people in office and these problems will magically disappear.
No. Many of the problems will disappear. Not a lot of the problems are going to have to be over, worked over, properly worked over, and dealt with, which you guys have not been doing for 14 years. You made things well, for the first 4 years, they slowly made things worse, and then it just went to complete shit. The Tories made things worse, and now they're going, oh, but we can make things better. It's fucking bullshit.
It's just not true. In the last
blatant lying to the fucking country.
14 years, we've made progress in the most difficult conditions any governments have faced since the Second World
War. Bullshit. The pandemic wouldn't have been as difficult if the Tories had actually put in the preparatory measures they were supposed to have fucking done. That they said they would do. And he seems to treat it as if the government got most things right during the pandemic. No, it fucking did not.
War, a world-leading economy. We've seen the third highest growth rate in the G7.
Because it dropped so damn low! I knew he would pull that bullshit up. I fucking knew it.
And created 4 million jobs. 800 a day. We took difficult decisions to record...
But people are losing jobs at quite a fast rate. That, like, people are losing or leaving their jobs at just as fast a rate. It doesn't fucking help, does it, mate?
Restore our country's...
Wages have been fucking stagnant.
...security and control national debt. And that allowed us to support...
Which is still rising.
...the country through COVID. Deliver the fastest vaccine rollout in the world. Provide record funding...
Not anymore. Like it was at one point. And then other countries took over. That is actually bullshit. He's bullshitting.
And protect pensions with the triple lock. We've reformed welfare by capping benefits and introducing universal credit to help people into work. We've reduced absolute poverty, pensioner poverty, child poverty. We've cut...
That's bullshit. On so many levels, that's bullshit. People's lived experience proves that to be absolute bullshit.
Carbon emissions by a third. Maintained our position as NATO's second biggest defence power. Halved violent and neighbourhood crime. And improved...
You demolished our fucking military. Our fucking aircraft carriers are an embarrassment.
Standards in our schools with English...
Partly because the Tories cheapskated on it. And then discovered that because they cheapskated on the fundamentals, it became more expensive as a project. It was ridiculous. They do not know how to run the country.
School children, not just the best readers in the UK, but in the Western world. We've legislated for equal marriage, and it is now not even surprising.
No. You and the Lib Dems did, and the majority of MPs that voted against were Tory MPs. He's really trying to get across a lot of bullshit here.
For people from ethnically diverse backgrounds to lead Scotland, Wales, and the United Kingdom.
That's not because of you.
And the economy now decisive.
He's taking credit for stuff. Anything good, like he's trying to take credit for stuff, for any good that's happened. And the Tories are not the cause of that.
Has momentum. Inflation down from over 11% to 3%.
Which you had no part of.
It's rising faster than prices. And in the first quarter of this year, we grew faster than France, Germany, Japan, Italy.
Again, because we fell so far. We fell further than all of them.
And even America. The plan is working, so we must stick to it and not go back to square one.
It's not...
And when Labour ignores the achievements of the last 14 years...
Oh my fucking God. Your achievements are bullshit, or there's someone else's achievements you decided to name are yours. Fuck off, Sunak, you hypocritical little cunt.
Or try to reduce the last 14 years to 49 days. Remember what they're actually doing is trying to distract you from the thing that matters most, the future. Now I'm clear-eyed enough to admit that yes, maybe they can depress their way to victory, with all their talk of doom loops and gaslighting and scaremongering about pensions.
That's exactly what you've been fucking doing, you little shit. I'm not sure I can do... Like, this whole thing is about an hour long. I'm not sure I can do the whole hour, if I'm honest.
But I don't think it will work. Because
it is working. You're 20 points behind in the polls and have been for more than a year and a half.
We're a nation of optimists. We're not blind to the challenges or threats that we face. We just have an innate belief that whatever they are, we can overcome them, as we have done so many times in our history, and create a secure future.
We need to overcome you fucking cunts.
For you and your family. So let me tell you more about my vision for how I would lead this country through this time of danger and transformation. The highest priority of a Conservative government is to keep our country safe.
And you've demolished our military. Our procurement is bullshit. The state of our equipment is bullshit. A lot of the fucking housing is bullshit. You have lessened the numbers of that's in the army. You cut down the amount of tanks and stuff we have in the army. Despite the fact that Ukraine proves we ought to not have done that. Fucking ridiculous. All of it.
Proudly taken the generational decision to increase defence spending to a new baseline of 2.5% of GDP by 2030. Yet Labour have refused to match our pledge. Keir Starmer supported a former Labour leader who wanted to abolish the army.
They know that pledge is a load of bullshit. Like, Sky News themselves actually analysed this little policy when Sunak first came out with it, and even they came out and said, well, it's a bit bullshit, really. It's essentially what they fucking said.
Ridiculous. And withdraw from NATO. And Labour's current deputy leader, shadow foreign secretary, and many others voted against our nuclear deterrent, the ultimate guarantor of our security. Now, Labour want to pretend that this is all history, ancient history, but it's not. And
you've been trying to pretend that the last 14 years have been ancient history. Fuck off, mate.
It should worry us. Because the defence of our country
the revisionism here is fucking ridiculous. He is blatantly lying to the entire nation, revising history in very much the same style as Putin.
Values requires seriousness of purpose, moral clarity, and the willingness to make big choices and sacrifices elsewhere to fund it. Either you believe the world is more dangerous, or you don't. Either you have the strength to lead.
But you admitted you worked to make it more dangerous. You fucking lying, hypocritical little cunt.
Or you don't. And yes, the global displacement of 100 million people is a new and defining challenge of our age. But we can...
You didn't help to stop that happening in the first place.
And will protect ourselves against illegal migration.
Protect ourselves against illegal migration. Fuck off, Sunak. Just want to remind people here that migration is as natural to us as a species as breathing. Especially when, say, the area where we were located is no longer hospitable for some reason or another. Fuck's sake.
Because only we Conservatives have the strength to challenge conventions and do something different about it. Tinkering just won't work. That's why we're pioneering the Rwanda scheme. And so when people see...
It does nothing. You had to pay someone to fucking go there, you dopey dickhead.
That if they come here illegally, they will be swiftly detained and removed. They will be deterred from making that perilous journey, stopping the boats and saving thousands of lives. Now, I know that our international frameworks are outdated, so there may be flashpoints ahead with the ECHR. And if the Strasbourg court make me choose between the ECHR and this country's security...
A court that we have judges on. It is an international court. If it was held in London, it would still be an international court, not a British court.
Security, I will choose our country's security every single time.
Lying little prick. What a lying little bastard. Seriously. Oh my fucking gods. How could anyone applaud that bullshit?
And nor will I ever compromise on defending our values.
You compromised our fucking country.
Our history, our way of life, against those who seek to undermine them. I am
You've been seeking to undermine it.
Who we are.
Fucking gods. This is... I seriously don't think I'm going to be able to do a full hour of this.
My leadership, ours will be a country where people can disagree in good faith, but where they must do with respect and decency for others.
Absolute
a country where
fucking hypocrisy coming out of his mouth. Every time someone has a disagreement with what he's got to fucking say, he gets tetchy. He's a little shit. He's a hypocritical little shit.
The benefits of belonging to our union are self-evident to the overwhelming majority of our people. A country where we strengthen and protect the greatest institution of all, the family. Better protect children from the harms.
Families feel worse than they ever did. Right, I am not fucking sitting through this. I'm going straight to the fucking interviews. Like, oh my fucking gods.
Stands out most is that this seemed to be the launch of a soft election campaign. Rishi Sunak's opening line was that there will be an election in the second half of this year, and he said that he believes his party can prevail, that it's still competitive, it's not going to be a foregone conclusion for Labour, whatever the opinion polls say. He wouldn't say exactly when the election is coming. He said he wouldn't play that game, but clearly...
Play that game? We just want to fucking know you. Ooh, I hate him so much.
He is framing the debate in terms of it being a referendum on security. He went as far as to say that only his party can keep the country safe.
You've had 14 years to prove that, and you haven't.
Time of global threats. He mentioned China, Russia.
And he goes on about 14 years of Labour government. It wasn't 14 years of Labour government, it was 11. So he can't even do maths properly.
Korea, and also the opportunity...
This man used to be the Chancellor of the Exchequer and he can't fucking count properly. It's ridiculous.
But also threats from technology at home in terms of making sure that...
No, I know, that's probably just a blatant lie, but you know.
AI makes our public services run better. Now, it's striking that Rishi Sunak hasn't concentrated that much on foreign affairs since becoming Prime Minister. All the priorities he set out when he came in, whether it was debt or...
financial security in this new world. That's what this can...
Wrapping up his speech there, let's bring it...
Perfect, of course not. Right, it would be wrong to do that. And when it comes to the Americans, as I said a couple of weeks ago, on that question, which I'm proud of, to Boris Johnson.
Part of the failed consensus of the last...
Okay, so you did.
...said. It had...
After the local elections, you said the results suggested we're heading for a hung parliament with Labour as the largest party. You've also ruled out doing any deal with another party. So as you outline these future threats, why have you openly admitted that you're not going to be able to stay on as Prime Minister? Thank you.
Sorry,
Beth,
I'm not entirely.
That was an awesome question by Beth Rigby. Wounded.
I'm sure I understood the question, but
Because you're stupid.
what I would say is that wasn't me who said those things. That was independent
You said those things.
election analysts who made those points about the
So
results
you
of
said it.
the local elections. My point is we've had the local elections now. The next election that our country's going to face is the general election. And the choice of that general election is clear. As I said, it's about the future versus the past. And as I've set out today, we have a clear understanding of what the future entails.
It's like the Tories have not been in power for the last 14 years.
Dangerous time that we've known in a long time, but also the most transformational. And it is only us, it is only me that have the bold ideas and the clear plan that would.
Bullshit. Oh my fucking gods. And the arrogance. Only us. Only me. He corrected himself and said only me. Is ridiculous.
Deliver a secure future for the country, and that's the substance of the debate that I'll be having at the next election. And then lastly, if we could just go to Channel 4.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Can I just follow on the LBC question about what that Sunday Times article said? It had some pretty direct quotes from Donald Trump. The suggestion was that we were encouraging him to think that a standoff between Ukraine and Russia would be a useful position for him to inherit if he comes to the White House, because that way he could put a deal on the table. Are we now in favour of a deal? It sounds from those quotes as though we are. And very quickly, if I may, because you were asking the country to trust not just you, but the Conservative Party. It's only a few months since you were saying they were part of the failed consensus of the last 30 years. You're now drawing our attention to the record that people should be proud of over the last 14 years. Which is it? And do you even trust it?
Nicely done. Nicely phrased. I like that question. That was a nicely phrased question.
Conservative Party. It's not that long since you thought a marauding mob of people with letters were coming after you, is it?
That's actually hilarious. That was a hilarious question, and Sunak, as usual, is not going to have a good answer for it.
So I haven't seen this Sunday Times article, so forgive me for that. But what I can tell you very clearly is that we have led when it comes to Ukraine. Right? My predecessor Boris Johnson did that. I've continued that, not just in quantum, but also being the first to provide new capabilities. Whether that was tanks, a decision I made, main battle tanks, long range.
But again, we could have offered more if we hadn't been lessening the amount of tanks. Just so there's some fucking context, the Tories have made our military so weak that we would last 2 months on the ammunition that we have in a full war.
Weapons, first to provide bilateral security assurances for the long term, first to train Ukrainian soldiers. So we have had a track record of leadership under me and my predecessors on that question, which I'm A, proud of, and everyone should be proud of it, but B, that's the right thing to do. Because if you want to strengthen this country's security...
You remember the question the guy came out with? I was basically, you said a bit ago that, the previous Conservative governments were were a problem, and now you're saying that the previous Conservative governments had a good record. Make your fucking mind up. And look, his response is a complete word salad. It's ridiculous.
To re-establish deterrence, right? An investment in Ukraine's security is an investment in our security. Our NATO allies in Eastern Europe are already worried about the prospect, or if Putin is able to succeed, that they'll be next, with all the consequences that would bring. And it's not just Putin that will be emboldened, it's our adversaries all around the world that are looking at this moment.
You've made our country weaker.
So in order to have security, we do need to invest more in defence. We do need to support Ukraine. That's what we've consistently done. But also it's right that we talk with our allies about that. And when it comes to the Americans, as I said a couple of weeks ago, is that, whilst we are enormously grateful for the continued support and investment they put into a European security, it's not right to rely on American taxpayers to do that if we're not prepared to make sacrifices for our own security. Now, I am. That's the decision I've made on defence spending. So
this is like that. What a word salad of an answer, and it's a non-answer too, because it doesn't answer the actual question.
when I'm in the US or when I talk to Americans, when David Cameron does, when Grant Shapps does,
On both
we're able to
points,
say
actually,
we are
both like it was a two-sided question, and neither point has been actually answered here.
leading. Right? We are investing more than anyone else in European security. That's the right thing to do. Others need to do the same.
Doing that
and ensure that our alliance
he's
remains
trying to be a rapper. Yeah, blood, innit? Yeah, blood. Fuck off, Sunak. Just fuck off.
strong. Keir Starmer cannot say that. He cannot.
Starmer actually has a good record when it comes to human going around the world and protecting people's human rights. You have a record for stealing other people's money.
Not say to our American allies or to others that we are leading, that we are investing more in our own security. And that's a
okay.
clear contrast. And look, on your last question, as I've...
Starmer's actually been really strong on security from what I can gather. Tory paper's been kicking off at him for it, so there's another bit of bullshit.
On the same point, right? I'm not for 1 second pretending everything about the last 14 years is perfect. Of course not. Right? It would be wrong to do that. I'm not doing that. But I am proud of the record. I was proud of the record when I made that speech too. Just take one thing, our education reforms, in large part pioneered by a lot of the work that happened here at Policy Exchange. Children from the most disadvantaged backgrounds now more likely to go to university than they were before. The attainment gap before COVID closed.
You're fucking bitching about too many people going to university. What the fuck? And he talks about Starmer flip-flopping. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Making sure that our kids are the best readers in the Western world. And again, that didn't happen by accident. It certainly is not happening in Wales, which Labour is in charge of, or in Scotland, where the SNP are in charge of. It happened here in England under a Conservative government. And
I can't believe that he's taking... The Tories are actually taking credit for this. He's fucked up.
I've always believed that the closest thing we have to a silver bullet...
And it's funny as well, because I'm having to correct people's spelling more and more often. Like younger people are constantly asking me, how do you spell this? How do you spell that?
Is education. If you can create a world-class education system in the way that I described, that's how you transform people's lives for the better. That's how you give people the opportunity to flourish and build financial security in this new world. That's what this Conservative government has done over the last 14 years, together with providing the financial security that we've needed so that we can respond to the shocks out there and continue to keep this country safe. So yes, I am proud of that, and I will always be proud of that. But the choice of election is about the future.
Literally
in a more dangerous
fucking
time, who can you trust to keep you safe? And it is
not you. No, it isn't.
That have the bold actions.
You cannot trust the Conservatives to do anything but ruin this country and rob us blind. That's what you can fucking trust them to do.
Required, a clear plan required to keep this country safe and give our families a secure future. Thank you very much.
Alright, that was such bullshit. Like, seriously. His answers were, as per usual, Sunak, non-answers, or just complete and absolute bullshit. He tried to take credit for stuff that the Tories were actually against. It's ridiculous. And blaming Scotland and Wales for their own problems, despite the fact that Scotland and Wales still have to rely on the Westminster government for bulk of their funding, is ridiculous. Like, he seriously is. And policy areas. You know? Oh, it's just stupid. I'm sorry. Like, the hypocrisy is fucked up. I'm sorry, I couldn't do the whole of that. Like, I'm not going to ruin my voice right now because of squeaky little Sunak and his fucking bullshit. So yeah, this has been One Angry Pagan, Shadowita, One Angry Pagan. reacting to Sunak's bullshit of the day. Oh dear. Just remember what he said, right? He said it is incumbent upon them to make this a period of that's not just more dangerous, but but where we can progress as well. Like, he's actually saying that he wants to make this a period that's more dangerous. So yeah, that's my final word on it. Blessed Thursday, guys. God bless you. Good fate. I'll see you at your backs, guys. Bye-bye.